From chauvinistic ex-engagement baiters to tribalistic sentiment following the verdict of one child who murdered another, the internet has become a giant cesspool of AI-generated slop and people who will post anything for a handful of likes. And then there's people like you and me, who have to wade through the shit just to find anything meaningful. I'm Too Employed, the new guy to the block, and your tour guide through the Sahara of reality, the internet. Our first stop today is going to be in Illinois, where a quitter stopped gambling before winning big because he lost the $2-ish million he had in savings and wedding funds. This came to light around June 24th when the 32-year-old Illinoisan Dane Miller, who was probably one spin away from a jackpot, decided to sue DraftKings for not catching his addictions for him and stopping him from spending his own money. In my opinion, no company is going to just try and stop you from giving them money. They're probably gonna even encourage it, since we're here in the capitalism capital of the world, which is a big shocker, I know. But in this guy's case, all it took was DraftKings looking at how much he spent and giving him that nice little VIP sticker to keep him coming back. Now, I'm a bit of a pro gambler myself. I've been to one casino in my life, walked in with $500 and left with a whopping $400, and was still the one who had to pay for dinner. But in all seriousness, gambling addiction sucks, and it is reported Dane did suffer from suicidal urges before seeking help. I'm glad he's getting the help he needs, but let's talk about the real winner of all this, his fiancée. While there aren't reports that I've found about them splitting, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a bit of an eye-opener for them and made them hit the ejecto seat. Better to find out sooner rather than later, I guess, but I'm truly happy that Dane is actively seeking and or receiving help. To keep the shuttle moving along, we're stopping by the wonderful world of X. I've never actually used X, but decided to scope it out for research purposes, and I'm learning a lot. A whole lot of fucking nothing. Between all the AI slop that gets churned out by the metric fuckton, the radicals of both parties, and the butts and glory over sexualization of the current generations, I can say we're probably doomed as a species. I understand engagement baiting, it's self-explanatory. What I don't get, however, is the use of all-around tragic scenarios and the support it gets in either direction. On one hand, we have X accounts saying Sophie Rain, a prominent E-woman, has been paid millions by Charlie Kirk. Those same accounts will then go and use some of the same clips or videos completely out of the context to target another tragedy, like Oliver Tree's helicopter passing, all for about 70 likes. Nah, I'm still pretty prenatal with all this analytics and engagement data, but I think this equates to maybe a McChicken before inflation. Using awful events such as anyone losing their life, no matter how much you dislike them, is absolutely abhorrent, and you should feel bad about doing it for a buck and some change. We shouldn't let people like this get away with shit like this, but I'm just some random on the internet who's using the engagement baiters to engagement bait? That tracks. Now, sticking with the wasteland of X, we're moving over to the trending tab, where a topic was hitting a little too close to home, but not for the reasons you'd probably think. There was a recent influx of users posting at the Department of Homeland Security and Secretary of the DHS, Markwayne Mullin, calling for mass deportations. I feel like this has come as a rising side effect of what we see happening over in the EU, as even Italy has gotten tired of the shit and has finally made it legal to move illegal immigrants to non-EU holding facilities to expedite the return process. Now, I know I'm making it sound like they're returning something to Amazon and that these are actual people, but it's still really funny reading return process, like they licked a stamp and stuck it on some guy's forehead. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I don't actually hate immigrants. I greatly dislike the ones who are not able to find it in themselves to assimilate, or worse, never had plans of doing so from the jump. However, the people who have come to countries and have only improved it by being productive members of society are some of the coolest people I've ever met. My current job is a giant melting pot where we've got Algerians, Hispanics, Asians, etc. A lot of which were not born here, but show up and do their job and just go home. I've even written a character witness letter for one guy who is currently going through the immigration process despite having lived here for over 40 years. Genuinely the best dude I have ever met. But from that same cultural background at that same job, I've met people who were also illegal immigrants and were in jail within a week. Before I even learned their name. Mass deportation might sound good on paper, but it definitely needs to be more of a focused targeting. Let's keep the people who make these countries better, and put the stamp on all the violent criminals / repeat offenders. Obviously, I don't speak for everyone here, but I feel like this is a stance that people could at least look at as holding merit. Alright, I know that last bit was a little heavy, so let's get even heavier and dive into the meat and potatoes by engaging our brains for a moment. I want anyone watching this video to close your eyes and imagine a scenario where you get pushed while in a place you shouldn't have been, and just think about what you would do in that situation. If you thought of anything besides killing the person who pushed you, congratulations, you're a normal person with an intact brainstem. That's right, we're talking about the Karmelo Anthony case, whereas anyone who is at least slightly chronically online, or is over the age of 50 and still watches cable news knows, is the case about one 17-year-old who went to a track meet with a 3-inch Swiss Army knife and went into the rival team's tent. He was told to leave approximately 15 times, to which he responded, "Touch me and find out." I'm not really one for spoilers, but this case has been in the works for over a year now. You should probably look it up if you haven't already, because I don't want to deep dive into the case itself. I'm more interested on what happened after the verdict was passed, after, you guessed it, the guy who brought a knife to a track meet and could only say, "Touch me and find out," murdered another 17-year-old with that same Swiss Army knife that definitely had no place at a track meet and was sentenced to 35 years for it. Some might think it's too long, some might think it's not long enough, and both viewpoints are better than what's behind door number 3. Posting on Twitter about how Karmelo Anthony should have got a 2-piece by getting Austin's brother, Hunter Metcalf, as well. I've actually got a brother named Austin, and I know if I was in Hunter's shoes, had this ordeal happen to us, I'd be kinda miffed with a big subsection of the internet saying he should have got my ass too, after my brother died in my arms. Anyone else? Just me? Alright, fine, guess I'm calling the cavalry.
Wake up, maggot!
Hey, you can't call me that.
It's time for your annual race war! Oh, you didn't want to be in a race war? Well, too bad. You're in one! Your skin color is your uniform, soldier. Black people on this side, white people on this side, Italians... We'll figure it out later.
Okay, I'm white, but I'm like Polish white, so I'm white with a little extra seasoning. What side do I go on in this grand game of chess?
Attention!
I'm paying attention, I promise.
Every black defendant in every court everywhere is Karmelo Anthony. Every black defendant in every court case everywhere is a murderer. Are you sure that's what you want to go with?
So I absolutely butchered the video for that little clip right there, so I'm just going to talk about it here. The tweet that she's talking about says, "Culture. When you get called for jury duty, do that shit. Make sure that you do your part in serving justice. Every black defendant in every court, everywhere, is Karmelo Anthony." Which they spelled like the basketball player, by the way. Every black defendant in every court everywhere is Karmelo Anthony. Yes, I know, it's Karmelo. That's such a stupid take to have on such a black and white, pun intended, court case. It doesn't matter what race the person was. If they stab somebody, they should be in jail. Black guy stabs a white guy, should go to jail. White guy stabs a black guy, should go to jail. White guy stabs a white guy, should go to jail. Black guy stabs a black guy, should go to jail. Enter in any fucking race you want to. And it's always going to equal the same thing. If you stab somebody, you should go to jail. Hot take, I know.
I love how he's basically like, go do jury duty so you can go blindly support any black person regardless of what they did. What the f? Like, I don't support every white person. Some of you are dumb.
Nuh-uh, my mama said I'm very smart. Stupid.
What's wild is this wasn't even like a cop kills black guy thing where like there might be some debate about like police brutality and over policing and things like that. No, this was just straight up a black kid stabbed a white kid and they're losing their minds because he's going to prison over it. fascinating.
I'm not gonna lie. I like the little police brutality angle that she tried to play into here, just to be like, hey, I could understand the argument for this if it were the case. Which, again, it wasn't, as she iterated. But I'm more of a realist than Shu is, apparently, because I've come to understand that body cam footage completely nullifies a lot of this police brutality bullshit that people like to preach, just by showing us that the people were stupid and would have had less serious repercussions if they had just shut up and listened. And now, I understand it's not all black people, because as Shuon had said, white people are fucking stupid too. I'm summarizing. The number of people who agree with the standpoint of Karmelo Anthony should not be in jail is above 0, and that is way too many. Any number over 0 is way, way too many. Because while Karmelo Anthony will get out within 35 years, probably less with good behavior, Austin Metcalf will never get another day. Austin's parents, Austin's brother, will not get to see him again. So honestly, 35 years is fucking light work.
Karmelo Anthony had been white, not only would he have not been convicted, there'd have never been charges. The only reason Karmelo Anthony was convicted was because we are a broken, fucking bigoted country, and Karmelo Anthony was black.
Wow, thanks for the input, gay Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, fuck you, Doug Dimmadum. Your hat's not big enough for the both of us, boy.
You don't have to support what Karmelo Anthony did to recognize the problem with sentencing a child to spend 35 years in prison based off of the deliberations of an all-white jury. Said it again, award! Said it again, award! All-white jury! All-white jury!
That's probably the thing that I find most irksome about this whole blow-up, is that everyone's calling it an all-white jury, when there was notably whites, Indians, Hispanics, and Asians. And now, as a white person, I can say that if we are as racist as you think that we are, we're sure as fuck not gonna let you slide with calling Asian, Indians, and Hispanics white people. No, I failed geography, but I'm not blind.
It's time to play Horseshoe Theory!
Woohoo! I love this game. I've never heard of it, but I like games, so I assume I will.
Contestant number 1. Here is the tweet. Stop sending your kids to these race schools.
Oh, stop sending your kids to these black schools. Definitely a white supremacist.
Oh, I'm sorry. The tweet is stop sending your kids to these white schools. And it came from the account Dapper Domo, who is black. You know what that means? That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
That means Sadie's a racist.
Into the pit!
Also, I love that her name's Sadie N-word. Unless it's like French or something and it's Sadie Onward.
Stop bringing non-black people into black spaces. Teach your kids to defend themselves by any means possible. Keep your black kids in black spaces as much as possible. Keep your black children away from these devils.
If we had segregation still, none of this would have happened.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard this, my initial thought was, you stupid bitch. But the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm realizing she's onto something here.
He wouldn't have had no interactions with any white boy because we would have been in an all-black school.
We are going to reverse engineer segregation, aren't we? But wokely. We don't want those evil white people drinking out of the same water fountain as us, am I right?
Yeah, frick those white people and their chapped lips. I'm not going to go through Shu's entire segment here because she's just talking about how if people want to live in an ethno state, they should be allowed to, which I completely agree with. If people willingly want to segregate, good for them. Black people can live in black neighborhoods, white people can live in white neighborhoods. Asians already have Chinatown, etc., etc. If you haven't seen her video, I'd highly recommend it. I watched it a few times through a couple of reaction channels, just out of doom scrolling.
I'm black. I haven't stabbed anyone in the chest after being asked to leave a tent. I'm not in prison. I'm free. It's not hard to not commit a crime.
What are you trying to say here, Mr. Matt Nuclear? Are you saying that if you don't commit a crime, you won't suffer the consequences of that crime? Wow.
Those are giant titties. Just left the courthouse and any white person can get it for real. I don't give a fuck. Fuck it. Dig Austin Metcalf up and stab his ass again.
So I wanted to go ahead and just look this guy up because what he's doing here is absolutely disgusting. Posting this and reposting this made me go, this guy's not a good guy. Here's what I found. Devontae D. Peters is a member of the Dallas Nine, which is an activist group out there in Dallas, obviously. And him and others of this group were actually arrested for demonstrating against the unlawful shooting of Botham Jean outside of the Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, Texas, which in and of itself is not a bad thing. Botham Jean did not deserve to die there. He was murdered in his own home, and it was a tragic loss of life. However, being a public nuisance and blocking the only accessible road at the time is not okay, so good on the police. But this same guy who was demonstrating for such a noble cause is the exact same guy who tried to leak Austin Metcalf's dad's address and threatened to pull up to his house 300 to 500 deep for the culture. Now this is just baffling to me. This should be illegal. This is illegal, I'm pretty sure. Like threatening to mob mentality a grieving father and his family and doxing him.
All I know is this. We pulling up to this man's house 300 deep. You know what I'm saying? 500 deep if we going. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You know, but I do appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me, standing with me. This the culture, you know what I'm saying? This how we moving, man. We letting them know and we ain't playing with them with their ass like that. You know what I'm saying? This what they say this shit is, this ain't that. You feel me? So.
Oh, Andy also ran for Dallas City Council 4 times.
Apparently, a bunch of people on TikTok are doing the Austin Bop, where they dance to a song made about Austin Metcalf's murder while reenacting the stabbing.
Austin Bop, knife had blood on the tip when he dropped. How the f you gonna stop me? Going out back Marlo out the box.
They were also making AI photos of themselves pissing on Austin's grave. You know, I was always told not to judge people by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And boy, am I judging these people by the content of their character. What the f***? These people are freaks. Martin Luther King Jr. would be rolling in his grave looking at all this.
He fought for civil rights, and they came out of civil left field with some bullshit. Like, seriously, that's fucking disgusting. How deplorable of a human being do you have to be to AI Photoshop yourself pissing on the grave of a minor? Y'all weird.
Karmelo Anthony, a black teenager, has been sentenced to 35 years in prison after being convicted by a jury with no black jurors. Oh, God, here we go again. No black jurors. Who is this moron? Who is this idiot? Oh! Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter. Wonderful. Awesome. I'm done. It's been a good 12 years, but I'm done. Channel's done. Video's over. This officially broke me. I'm done. Go watch Moist Critical. Go watch Asmongold. I'm done.
She forgot the most important one. Come watch me. They already get enough views. I'm the new guy. Come give me attention. I demand it. Please. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. The internet is in an absolute dismal state, and I hate that I'm around for it, but I'm also kind of looking forward to it because it gives me something to do. So yeah, thanks. Take it easy.